We're back, and we're in the future in our, our new set here on the Carolina Insider. Jones, Adam here with you. Thanks so much for being with us. It's the Weekend Recap presented by Wells Fargo. A lot to get to. Let's just get right to it. Adam, let's start with football. Not the result the Tar Heels wanted this past week, of course, falling in double overtime to NC State, but also the end of the regular season, which in total was a terrific year. 9-3 overall. Tar Heels Coastal Division champions heading to the ACC championship game this Saturday against Clemson. So again, clearly not the end of the season the Tar Heels wanted here the last few weeks, but an incredibly successful year from start to finish.
Mac Brown mentioned Monday, if you had told folks way back in August that the Tar Heels are going to win 9 games and play for the ACC championship and win the Coastal, would everyone be excited? And he said he thought the consensus would be yes. I think that's probably right, but then people wouldn't have known how the season was going to close with the loss to Georgia Tech and then, of course, the loss to NC State on Friday as just not quite enough. As the game goes to double overtime, Coach Brown mentioned a couple times, game came down to a kick, but I think the Carolina offense feels like maybe if it could have just produced another touchdown or so, or just at some point taken the lead and gotten a little momentum, just think that game turns out completely differently. And the Wolfpack playing with a backup quarterback, able to generate just enough offense against a Tar Heel secondary that was depleted, able to pull out the win.
In total, though, as we said, a great year for Carolina. Drake May leading the way, set a Carolina single-season record in passing yards this year. Currently second in a single season in touchdown passes with 35. The record is 38, so there's still 2 more games to play. Certainly has an opportunity to set a new mark. And as you would think, with Drake May having those terrific numbers, Adam, he is one of several Tar Heels named to the All-ACC teams announced earlier today. On the first team, you have all guys I think that were shoe-ins is hard to say, but certainly great choices with Drake May at the quarterback spot, Josh Downs, first-team wide receiver, and Cedric Gray, who led the league in tackles, leading what is a terrific linebacking group in the ACC.
Those feel like no doubters. Yep. I think Drake May has had his name on that list for quite some time, and Josh Downs moved there also. And when you look at the numbers, you can't dispute Cedric Gray.
Second team for the Tar Heels, Josh Downs again in the all-purpose position, so that keeps in mind return game and any rushing that may occur as well. And Storm Duck gets on the second team at the cornerback spot. Third team, 3 Tar Heels there. Antoine Green at wide receiver, Austin Richards at offensive tackle, and Ben Kiernan. He didn't get a ton of work, honestly, this year, and that's a good thing for the Tar Heel offense at the punter position. And also 3 Tar Heels honorable mention. That is Corey Gaynor at the center spot, Bryson Nesbitt at tight end, and Power Eccles, the other Tar Heel linebacker who has played so well this season. So congratulations to all of those guys. Tomorrow, Wednesday, that's when you're going to see Player and Rookie of the Year. Drake May has a terrific chance to be Offensive Rookie of the Year, Overall Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and Overall Player of the Year in the league, and also the Coach of the Year. That comes out on Thursday this week. Also, of course, Tar Heels in Charlotte on Saturday, looking for their first ACC title since 1980, just their second championship game appearance in the current format, joining when they took on Clemson in 2015. That game's at 8 o'clock in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. We'll be on the air at 7 p.m. radio-wise, and then find out Carolina's bowl destination on Sunday. If Carolina wins that game, it's easy. They're going to the Orange Bowl. If they don't, there are a couple opportunities and options for the Tar Heels as to where they may go. All right, let's move to women's soccer. And Adam, what a crazy, you found this number. It's just insane. The Tar Heels have been to the round of 8 33 times in their history in the NCAA tournament for women's soccer, with their win this past weekend over Notre Dame. Now 31-2 in the round of 8 in the NCAA tournament. Wow, what success.
Just an incredible dynasty for Carolina women's soccer, and it rolled on in South Bend in some frigid temperatures. Notre Dame got that #1 seed in that region. Carolina felt like maybe they deserved it, so they went up to Notre Dame and proved it. Got the 2-0 win. Ali Sentnor had another goal. She now has 5 in Carolina's 4 NCAA tournament matches. Talia Della Peruta had another one. And then Emmy Allen, really good job in goal as she had 6 saves. That's her 7th solo shutout of the season. So big win for Carolina. The Tar Heels and Irish hadn't played during the regular season, and now Carolina going to see another familiar face in the College Cup.
Florida State, the opponent. Those two teams Played each other twice during the season. Carolina won the regular season matchup in Tallahassee 2-1, but Florida State won the ACC championship meeting between the two. The final score of that was also 2-1. So the rubber match coming up in Cary on Friday night. Of course, encourage you to head out to Cary to cheer on the Tar Heels. If you can't be there, it is available on ESPNU Friday, 6 o'clock in the College Cup women's soccer. Adam, speaking of some women's sports having success, women's basketball goes to Portland and wins the PKI, the Phil Knight Invitational, with wins over ranked teams in Oregon and Iowa State. With those wins, the Tar Heels now ranked number 6 in the nation. It is their highest ranking since December of 2015. And both wins were impressive, but particularly that victory over the Cyclones. They were down, Tar Heels were down 17 in the first half. They were down 13 at halftime, but behind Deja Kelly, who was named the ACC Player of the Week this week, also named the tournament's MVP. She poured in 29 points. Kennedy Todd Williams, former podcast guest, had a big second half as well, and the Tar Heels get the win. Carolina
outscores Iowa State 28-11 in the fourth quarter to close out that win, and just a big-time win over a top-5 opponent. But it doesn't slow down any for the Tar Heels because they're going to have to go back on the road here in just a couple days. They're going to number 5 Indiana. That game is Thursday at 6 o'clock. Hoosiers are really good. They just won their Thanksgiving tournament out in Las Vegas.
Of course, the guys were in Portland as well. Adam was there with them, and Adam, unfortunately, not as successful a trip out west for the men. They finished the event 1-2. 2 close losses, let a sizable lead slip away in the final 3 to 4 minutes against Iowa State. Then, in what was tied for the longest game in Carolina history, 4 overtimes, Tar Heels had multiple chances through the overtime periods to put away Alabama, never could do it, and end up falling 103-101.
You play in these events to learn what you need to work on, and I think Carolina learned it needs to work on some late game execution, some defensive tendencies that didn't go very well in the close of those games. Caleb Grill from Iowa State really lit up the Tar Heels, scored 31 points, and then, as traditionally happens, scored 1 the very next time. The only surprise, he didn't grow up dreaming of going to Carolina. And then against Alabama, the Tar Heels just had numerous opportunities to close that one out and never could quite do it. And you don't know about the status of Armando Bacot, as the Tar Heels, much like the women, are now going to go on the road. They actually stayed on the road, went straight from Portland to Bloomington for a game Wednesday night. Bacot dealing with a tender ankle, so his status a little bit up in the air, and what has become a big ACC Big Ten matchup for the Tar Heels.
Then, of course, Tar Heels go to Virginia Tech after that, so a difficult stretch still. Tar Heels in the middle, really, of the difficult stretch right now. Adam, let's finish off volleyball. Finished its regular season with some quality wins over Duke and Virginia. Unfortunately, did not qualify for the NCAA tournament. The season comes to a close at 17-12 overall, 9-9 in ACC play. There are a couple of individuals that were honored for the Tar Heels. Maybe Shaftmaster, former podcast guest named first team All-ACC, Charlie Nego, second team, and a couple all-freshman team members as well, Anita Babick and Liv Mogridge. All right, still more to do this week here on the video portion of the Carolina Insider. We'll be joined by somebody that Adam mentioned, well, Adam, I'm pointing to him, but somebody that Adam mentioned earlier in our show today, Allie Sentnor from women's soccer, going to join us tomorrow. Then we'll have our social drive on Thursday. New audio podcast available today as well. Rob Landry from men's basketball, our guest, will be back on the audio side on Friday as well. So a busy week upcoming, a lot of Tar Heel stuff going on too. Thanks for being with us here on the Carolina Insider.